Hello and welcome to the Work for Change podcast. My name is Jean, spelled like Gene.
And my name is John with the silent H. Thank you so much for coming to episode 15.
For sure. It is absolutely maybe episode 15.
It's definitely one. It's either episode 15 or one of those.
You know, we really should do a better job about knowing like what episode number we're on, don't you think?
I think we should keep it like this because then we keep people on their toes.
They're like,
Because
oh,
then
no,
they go
which
and
one is
check
it?
which
Which one is it?
episode am I on.
Yeah, well, they're on episode 15.
See,
so.
I knew it. I knew that I was right.
Yeah.
Okay, so jumping straight into this week's review. I'm pretty sure that Jean wrote this review himself. This review is from Hoopster 8152.
You didn't know they called me Hoopster in middle school.
Yeah, they definitely did because this is definitely a review you wrote.
I was really good at hoopstering. Like,
Yeah.
I was really good at the basketball. And so Hoopster was just a natural nickname.
So this review, you want to know what the title is?
Hoopster.
Jean is a superstar.
Hey.
Is the title of this review.
Yeah.
So it says, this podcast is incredible, and I knew it would be because John David O2B is awesome in every aspect. Thanks, John. I appreciate it. His YouTube, his Instagram, everything is so powerful and motivating, and he is one of my biggest inspirations. That being said, I feel like because of John's following, Jean gets overlooked, and as someone who wouldn't categorize themselves as obese, and I never really have been, Jean's insight on things is great for the average person. Jean is extremely relatable and honestly makes this podcast complete. I'm incredibly surprised the guy doesn't have a bigger following because his content is amazing. I feel like his little brother sometimes overshadows him due to the size of his following for good reason, but the combination of them both made this podcast as great as it is. Go follow Jean, guys. This guy needs a bigger following. He's doing amazing things. So there you go.
No, okay, so I'm going to be totally honest. That wasn't me.
It was Sam, wasn't it?
No. But I am $50 poor. No, just kidding.
Yeah, you paid someone to write that.
So it wasn't me because they didn't give any follow-up on how you can follow me.
That's true.
If you want to follow me, my Instagram is at John Glaude, at John Glaude.
Spell it out.
My YouTube is John Glaude.
Jean.
Jean. It's spelled like Gene. Glaude.
There you go.
I mean, it's like, I know I have such a great name for people to only know me through written.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know,
definitely.
like John Glaude is 100%. So speaking of my name, you know what I thought would be like the coolest present?
What? For yourself?
Yeah. Like if someone were to get this for me.
You were thinking of a present someone could give to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Naturally.
Okay.
As you do. And it like if someone were to get me like not like a voodoo doll, but like a like a doll, like a stuffed animal doll.
Okay.
But it was made out of denim.
Okay.
Like jean material of me. So it would be like a jean Jean. Or like a denim Jean.
Why were you thinking about this?
I don't know where my brain goes.
That
Don't
is very
ask me
weird.
that.
That is very weird. But yeah,
That'd be kind of funny, right?
I guess so.
Yeah.
For you.
Yeah.
But, like you would be the only. Every time
For
someone
sure,
saw it,
I would look down on it and go,
that would be it.
That would-
And then anytime someone saw it, you would have to explain to them what it was.
It's a Jean Jean.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Whatever.
It's a
But yeah,
ginger.
if you do want to leave a review, leave it on iTunes, and then maybe you will get into the show being read out loud by me terribly.
Yeah. Well, and, if you decide to leave a review, just make sure that it's like really raving about me and how great and awesome you think I am. And $50 will be going in the mail for you. So
John's gonna be broke.
I'm going to be broke, but people are going to like me.
No, but for real, I want to say thank you guys. You guys have been doing a ton of reviews. We are close to like 1,000 now, I think, somewhere around there, for reviews and like ratings and stuff like that. So that's awesome, and we really do appreciate it. So thank you.
And when you guys are listening, after you leave a review, make sure you like screenshot or screen record, post it on your Instagram, post it wherever you are, and use the hashtag #WorkForChangePodcast because, again, I love seeing it. It's super cool. I really enjoy it. It's kind of funny because, maybe I'm calling people out and whatever. That's what I do. You know how people will just like every hashtag, they're like, oh, I'm going to put that on my post now. I'm going to put that in my post now. I'm going to put that in my post now. I'm going to put that. And it like literally it's like just a string of hashtags. It's like Work for Change podcast is kind of becoming one of those where it's like just another hashtag and a string of hashtags. Like, post that you're listening to the podcast. That's what I want to see. That, or like someone recently posted our podcast like image, and they're like, here are the things I learned from this podcast, and they listed like 4 things.
Yeah, that was cool.
And I was like, dang, man, like that was awesome. Like, do that, and we'll like, that'll be super sick. But if you want to tag us, my name is at John Glaude on Instagram.
And then my name is at Obese to Beast on Instagram.
Or
John Glaude.
And very lastly, before we get into today's podcast, we do have merch coming so soon.
Yep.
I don't want to give a date. I don't want to give
We don't
like a
know
time.
exactly, but it's like we got an update finally, and so we'll be
the
able.
merch is in the where like it is in the place where it is going to be sold. So now it's just promo pictures, getting that set up, stuff like that. So we are good to go. Coming so soon. We're gonna announce it on this podcast days before we announce it on social media. So be sure you're listening in if you want to. Or
at least hours, because I know how impatient I am.
No, days.
Okay.
Like, wait till Thursday at least.
Okay.
You have to. Hope you guys enjoy episode 15 of the Work for Change podcast.
It's time to come eyeball to eyeball with yourself and get raw and real. This is not a self-love tactic. You can't fluff it. Don't massage your ego. This is about abolishing the ego and taking the first step to becoming the real you. I tacked Post-it notes on my accountability mirror, and I'll ask you to do the same. Digital devices won't work. Write all your insecurities, dreams, and goals on Post-its and tag up your mirror. If you need more education, remind yourself that you need to start working your butt off because you aren't smart enough. Period. Point blank. If you look in the mirror and you see someone who is obviously overweight, that means you're freaking fat. Own it. It's okay to be unkind to yourself in these moments because we need thicker skin to improve in life. Whether it's a career goal, quit my job, start a business, a lifestyle goal, lose weight, get more active, or an athletic one, run my first 5K, 10K, or marathon, you need to be truthful with yourself about where you are and the necessary steps it will take to achieve those goals day by day. Each step, each necessary point of self-improvement should be written on its own note. That means you have to do some research and break it all down. For example, if you're trying to lose 40 pounds, your first Post-it may be to lose 2 pounds in the first week. Once that goal is achieved, remove the note and post the next goal of 2 or 5 pounds until your ultimate goal is realized. Whatever your goal, you'll need to hold yourself accountable for the small steps it will take to get there. Self-improvement takes dedication and self-discipline. The dirty mirror you see every day is going to reveal the truth. Stop ignoring it. Use it to your advantage. If you feel it, post an image of yourself staring into your tagged up accountability mirror on social media with the hashtags #Can'tHurtMe, #accountabilitymirror. So what that was the end of chapter 2 of the new book that I'm reading, Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. And I really, really, really like this exercise. So I actually did it myself. And one, if you haven't heard this book or you haven't read it yet, I highly recommend it. There's a lot of cussing in it, so just be aware of that. But I really, really liked this. I like that exercise. So there's like challenges at the end of all of the chapters, right? And that was one of the challenges. And so I actually did it myself, and I posted this on social media, and I use the hashtags and stuff. So I encourage you guys to do this if you want. I encourage you, John, to do this if you want. But I wanted to kind of go through the Post-its that I posted. I think I did 8, and maybe just kind of talk about them a little bit and just kind of share with you guys and you, John, like my frame of mind and the reason that I wrote things down. Some of them are kind of vague, and the reason is because I knew I was posting that with thousands of people looking at it. So it's like, I understand what it means to me, and some of them I'm like, I don't need to explain everything, but I just kind of wanted to talk about them a little bit. Is that cool?
Sure.
Okay, so the first one is work harder. That was the Post-it note that I put. And for me, I think that anybody that does what I do, I'm my own boss. You always feel like you can kind of be working harder. So that was that. And then honestly, because I like Casey Neistat, and that's like one of his sayings, it just kind of came into my head, and that's why I wrote that one down. So I really like that.
How do you know you've succeeded at that one?
Yeah, that's the issue, right? So like that's the harder thing is like I've been like actively trying to make sure that like I'm putting out more content every week. Like for me, that's part of working harder. And then, I mean, I don't want to explain too much because then it'll go into the other Post-it notes. So like that one's kind of, I guess, related a little bit to the other ones that I wrote down. But yeah, just doing like the things that I have been doing, just doing it more, really. And then the next one was read every day, and I actually have been doing that. The reason I wanted to do that was one, because it forces me to kind of have like alone time with myself, and then like reflect on things. And then again, like in the book, David talks a lot about how he's not smart. And I really, really relate to that because we've talked about before, I was in special ed all the way from second grade until I graduated high school. I was even in kind of like in a special ed program when I was in college for a year. I had like extra help. So I've always felt like I'm stupid. You know what I mean? For lack of a better term, like that's always been something that I've struggled with. So I was always telling myself the story, I'm stupid, so I'm not going to try and read books because I'm not a person that does those things. Like that's how I've always kind of felt. And I really, like I've had my New Year's resolution for the past like 3 years has been to read more. And this is the first year that I'm actually doing that. And you know what I mean? Like 2 months in, well, it's only a full month in, but I've already read 3 books this year. Well, I'm in the 3rd book right now, right? So like I'm doing a lot better this year than I have in the past. So that's obviously, that was kind of why that got in my head, was like, I want to read more, because he talks so much about in the book about how he felt like he was dumb, and he was like, okay, if I'm dumb, then I need to do something about it, right? And those were his words, so it's not like I'm sounding like a jerk or anything like that. Yeah. That's what he says. So, and then the next one, this one's pretty obvious, is wake up earlier. So for me, I usually get to the gym and like to the office at about 8:30, 8:45. And so I used to kind of wake up at like 7:30, maybe like, and then get ready and then leave. Now I've been trying to wake up at 6, so I have time to read. That's like one of the things I do in the morning. I have time to journal. I have time to kind of relax before I'm going straight into here. And so for me, wake up earlier means actually listen to my 6 a.m. alarm. And I get that that's not super early for some people. Like I used to wake up at 3:30 in the morning when I worked at Starbucks, right? So, but for me, that is earlier than it would be. And also, so that means not letting myself hit like, oh, I'm going to sleep until 7. And complete honesty, I did that today. So I'm not perfect, you know what I mean? So like, I went to sleep pretty late last night because I mean on weekends I go to sleep later just because I'm usually doing something at night. So I 100% slept until 7 today. And that like bothers me and I'm annoyed with it, but it is what it is. I'm not going to sit here and lie. So that's why I wanted to wake up earlier.
Yeah, it's weird how when you get like used to a specific time that you're waking up, that even if you wake up at a time that you were used to, now you feel like you're being less. Like the way progression works, like the way you get better at things is you're at a certain level and then you establish a certain amount of habits and whatever, and then you're on that next level. Well, when you were on that level before, you were like, all right, I'm the best I am right now, right? And you felt good about it. And then you learn, you grow, you develop, and then now you're at a new level. But then when you're back on that level that you were before, you feel like, ugh, now I'm falling behind. It's very interesting, like, the way we get so accustomed to, like the way we adapt, like it's the same thing with addiction, right? Where it's like you do one thing and you like the way it feels, and then you do it again. Eventually, now now when you do the thing and the high you get is just your old normal. So now you have to do more of it, and then that'll make you feel better, and then you keep on increasing that, and then eventually you realize you're always on something. And so like it's an addiction to growth. It's an addiction to like, I do not want to go back down to that low feeling, whatever that is. So it's just very interesting. It's very interesting that it's at one point something you could be so proud of, you realize you look back on and you go like, oh, that was just a stepping.
Yeah, exactly.
Literally
like,
just a stepping point.
It's that, and that's how it is with anything. Like when you want to improve in things, it's like you want to be able to look back and be like, oh, I thought I was doing so well, but I'm actually doing better now, right? So for me, like waking up at 7 for a while was like, that was waking up earlier. But then I've grown, and now that I'm coming into the office and stuff like that, I wanted to wake up even earlier so I had more time in the morning to be able to get some stuff done. So that's why I wrote that one down. And then the fourth one is complain less. We've kind of talked about this a little bit on the podcast already, but you know, it goes with anything. Like complaining about stuff, just it never solves anything. Especially if it's like complaining in a group, or like it can turn into gossiping, and I definitely don't want to do that. But then just like even if it's in my own head, like complaining about, you know, cards that I might have been dealt, or like, oh, it's too hot, it's too cold. Like I really like that's, and it's with these things, it's like you can like even break it down into littler things. Like for me, I've been really focusing on, okay, when it's the weather, I try to not like complain to people, oh, it's so cold, it's so hot, because who cares? Like it doesn't matter. It's not you saying that isn't going to change the weather. And so that's like one of the things that I've been focusing on is just with the weather, and then hopefully eventually that'll just be normal. I won't even talk about the weather anymore. You know what I mean? I won't be one of those people that's like, oh, it's so cold, and then I'll be able to move on to something else. So that's why I wrote that one down.
It's interesting. Like also, I think like a lot of people think, oh, well, complaining more, you're just accepting whatever happens, and it's like there are things that you can complain about that you can't control, and there are things that you complain about that you can control, right? So like if you can't control the weather, which we can't, like, don't complain about it. Stop complaining about it. There's nothing you can do. All it does is put you in a bad mood. But if you're complaining that you're really slow at running a mile, there's something you can do about that.
And that it almost makes it even worse, though.
Yeah.
I mean, like if you're complaining with no intention of changing, okay, like,
yeah, I mean,
oh yeah, you want to run a faster mile. Are you going to do anything about it? Yes or no?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If the answer is yes, then go do that thing. If the answer is no, then stop talking about it.
yeah, just stop complaining about it. Like, but people don't want to do that. They don't want to accept. It seems that our default is we like to complain just to hear our voice. And it's like when you get challenged on it, can you change it? No. Then why are you complaining? Can you change it? Yes. Then why are you complaining? Like,
it really is just your default, though. And so it's not like I'm trying to be like, oh, I'm better than other people, because I complain all the time. I complain so much about everything, you know? And so that's why I wrote that down, because I noticed that I was complaining so much. And so that's one thing that I'm working on. And then the fifth one
Hold on. Before the podcast, we were talking about the first time we did Fran. And we've never done it. We didn't do it before. It was when we were brand new to CrossFit.
Well, yeah, that's what happens when it's your first time.
Exactly. Yep. We had no clue what to expect, right? We knew it hurt, but we didn't know what Fran lung was. So.
If you don't know what Fran is,
it's 21, 15, 9 thrusters and pull-ups. It's a very popular CrossFit workout. And like, we didn't know what to expect. So it like punched us in the face, right? And I remember thinking that was terrible. That was the worst thing in the world. We did it again. Wasn't as bad because I was more expecting it. Did it again. All right, I'm getting faster. Now I have a strategy. Now I know how to approach this. I think that like so often things in life, like we were talking about default modes. Like if a big part is just like recognizing you have a default mode, recognizing that my default is I complain here. So the first thing that happens and it punches you in the face, you go, oh, dang, I need to change that because I don't want to be someone who complains all the time. And then the next time a situation comes up, it wasn't pretty, but you kind of had a plan to approach that complaining. The next time you do it, the more you do it, the better you get. And that element of surprise, that shock, that isn't as drastic because you were ready for it. And so I feel like with so many things, because complaining is just one of the default modes that we fall into. Laziness, whatever. We all know what it is for ourselves. And so if you have an attack plan on those things, like you will fight them better. I'm not saying it'll get easier, but you will fight them better and you will have tools to better combat them. And so for someone, you know, who's listening and they are thinking like, well, I'll never overcome that. It's like, well, just try, just try once and you might get literally torn to shreds. But you'll know what to expect the next time it comes, and you can try to maneuver to get less torn to shreds, and then you can maneuver to get, and eventually you'll find yourself on top. And that's
yeah, I mean, it's all about repetition, and the thing is about repetition, but also in that repetition, when things go wrong, because inevitably they will with anything, is learning from that. Because you can't just be like, oh, it's about repetition, but then when things are going bad, you're not learning from any of the mistakes or any of the things, right? That's like, I would say that's even more important, is like learning from the things that are going wrong and how to get better at it, right? So like, if you notice that you were doing well with not complaining, and then all of a sudden something happened, and then that's like all you could focus on for the day, okay, like next time when that happens, stop for a second, think to yourself, do I need to sit here and complain about, you know, my car, you know, not starting, or the AC isn't working as well as it should? Things like that, right? Like learn from that mistake.
Yeah.
All right. So number 5, am I allowed to move on now?
Yep.
All right. Number 5 is pray more. So that one's pretty self-explanatory. I know I don't do it enough, so I'm working on that.
Okay, so you said you have, because the book was lose 2 pounds this week.
Mm-hmm.
Yours are very
they're
ethereal.
they're very vague, and I think
do
part
you
of
think
it,
that you're gonna go back and make them more specific, or like?
Yeah, I think like especially after, because I wrote them, and I didn't like read that page and then go and write them. Like I read that chapter, and then I was up in LA at the time when I read that chapter, and then I came back down and I remembered that I wanted to do it, so then I just did it, you know? So I didn't like read exactly, like, so like honestly, like, yeah, these aren't the best examples. Sorry guys. But you know, but at the same time, it's like, again, like I just knew that it was going to be out there for a bunch of people to see, and I like sharing stuff, but it's not like I need everyone to know every single tiny aspect of everything I'm doing. So I think that was part of it too, was like to be a little bit vague, because again, like people don't need to know every single tiny thing about me.
But now that the post is up, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, exactly. So I can change. So I probably will change things up a little bit. Maybe change it to like pray 3 times a week or whatever. You know, whatever that might be. And then the next one, this one gave me, a lot of people were giving me a lot of flack for this, so I want to talk about this. Build lasting relationships with brands. So this is something, and I understand why people were kind of upset about this, but before I talk about that, I just kind of want to talk about why I wanted to work on that. Because for me, this is my job, right? And I want to be able to, because I'm not really aligned with anybody at all right now. And I want to be able to align myself with people that believe in what I'm doing, genuinely like believe in Obese to Beast and the brand, and like, you know, like what my channel is, what this is too, you know, this is going for the podcast as well. And I want to be able to obviously align myself with people that I think are good, you know, things that I enjoy. And so I've been not very good at doing that at all. And it's almost like, for me, it's more of a growth thing than like I'm trying to make a ton of money doing this. It's like, no, I want to step out of my comfort zone, because for so long I've been like almost afraid to really align myself with people, because I'm just always afraid that people are going to burn me, really. But when I put that up, a lot of people were like, oh, like, they were kind of getting upset at me because they said it seems like it's like I'm focused on the money too much, or like it doesn't look like it's like you're focused on, you know, helping people. And in like my mind, I can't completely understand where they're coming from, but for me, it's like I want to be able to align myself with those brands and things, because then I will be able to do more stuff. You know what I mean? I will be able to help more people, because they can help me fly places or whatever it might be, right? I'll be able to go to expos and meet people, whatever. That's such a small thing, but there's so many other things that it could mean. And so again, it represents more than just aligning myself with brands and like making sponsorship money, because that's like honestly I don't care about that much. It's about stepping out of my comfort zone and trying to align myself with things that I believe in.
Yeah, I understand where they're coming from too, and I understand that 100% they're wrong. I'm just like, it's ridiculous. Like, it's just so no one gets mad when someone says Mozart was an artist, Beethoven, or I'm not saying you are that level, but
no, I'm not.
They are just the cream of the crop, the examples. They had someone who said, I support you. I like what you do. I will fund your work. That was the common way that artists, you know, in quotes, made money, whether that's painting, whether that's musicianship, sculptures, whatever it is. It wasn't like they were making a whole bunch of sculptures and then being like, sculptures, yeah, get your sculptures, you know. There was a wealthy person in today's culture, brands, who have access to a lot more money than a regular everyday Joe. Mm-hmm. And they said, I like what you're doing. I want to be a support for you, your thing, your cause, your whatever. And then that allowed them to create content more freely, more, you know. And so it's like these people who are like, oh, you're only in it for the money. Oh, you're only, and it's like, you need money. You just do. We live in a capitalistic society where money is the ticket to do a lot of things. We have brands who want to partner with people who believe in certain things, and they're willing to invest in that. It's just, I disagree with them.
Well, I get where you're coming from, but honestly, like they weren't that. It was not like they were saying anything like that crazy. They weren't being completely negative.
You said, I want to establish a relationship with a brand. They said, you're only in it for the money.
They didn't say that. Like, they didn't say, like, you're only in it for the money. They were saying, like, the comment was, it seems not like you to say this. So then they were trying to have me explain it. Like I said, they weren't like attacking me. So like, chill out. I appreciate it. But like, you don't need to defend me.
No, well, you know, respectfully, I don't think I need to chill out. Like, honestly.
Okay.
Like, I don't. I think that people have this unrealistic expectation of what happens on Instagram and on YouTube.
Okay. Playing the devil's advocate, and the reason that I think they feel that way is because of how vocal I am about other people with sponsorships. So that's where I think people are coming from, and I understand why they feel that way. And so
if your thing was make more money from sponsorships,
yeah,
I would get it.
Exactly.
I would get that.
But that's where people's mind goes.
They need to stop.
Yeah. They need to stop right now.
People need to stop doing that because that's not what it is. Creating a relationship with a brand is saying, I like what you do, I like what you say, I like what you stand for. I also stand for those things. Let's work together. That's a relationship with a brand.
Yeah, but
working together just happens to be monetary. It happens to be, we'll fly you out to this. But that is how you work together.
But at the same time, in the space that I'm in with weight loss and stuff like that, there are a lot of people that use that brand and they completely lie about what they use. They completely are disingenuous. They aren't very honest. And so they are in it for the money, and there's a good amount of that. So it's people that are like, I don't want you to be in that, go in that direction. And so again, like most of the people didn't even say anything about that, but there was a good amount of people that were like, they were just asking me to explain myself a little bit more. And so I couldn't explain too much. So that's why I'm excited that we're talking about it on the podcast, because they weren't, like, I understand why someone would be like, this is weird. Because for me, I do talk about how I don't like how, some weight loss influencers promote fat burners or skinny teas, because that is technically, right, they're working with a brand and they're making money. And I think that is disingenuous. So I think there's ways that you can do it that are helpful. And that's obviously what I'm trying to do, is like something that I truly believe in, that I truly actually think is good, and I'm not lying, but there's definitely ways that you can do it that aren't right. Like, what was it? Kim Kardashian promoted the appetite suppressant lollipop. Like, that's not okay. That's not cool. And so I think that's why people were like saying that, because I am that person that's like, if you're working with a brand and you're being disingenuous and you're lying, especially when it comes to like weight loss stuff, and you're trying to promote these things, and in your promotion, you're basically lying to your followers or maybe giving them false hope. That's not okay. And so you've seen all the posts that I've made about that, right? So that, I think that's where people's mind, like, that's what they're used to me saying, is like, and they got in their mind, and that was my fault. They got in their mind that I was probably anti-brand, anti having a sponsorship, and that's not what I am. I'm anti lying to your followers, anti being disingenuous is more what it is.
So I just think that you're very vocal about your anti-use people, right? So of course that wouldn't be what you mean. You know, like, I just feel like, I don't know.
I agree with you 100%. Like, of course that's not what I meant, but I fully was ready for people to say something about that Post-it note, and they did. Like, I wasn't surprised about people saying stuff about that. So that's what that one means. Is there anything else you want to say about that one?
I think that it's just very valuable. Okay. Can I
go for it, man? I want to hear you. I want to hear what you have to say.
I am the same way in some elements, but I've really been working at getting better at it. What I have noticed in the past is that you'll have a relationship with a brand, things will get awkward, and you'll just stop talking to them.
Yeah.
Like, you'll literally just like cold turkey. I'm out. I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. This is weird. And so but I see a different side of you than most people do.
Yeah.
So when you say develop relationships with brands, for me, it's like, okay, less of a, I'm out. You know what I mean? It's more like, let's negotiate what works better for both of us, and not just only propping you. You know, like
that's definitely like a behind the scenes thing that I wasn't planning on talking about, but let's do it. So like, yeah, I've worked with a few different brands, and
they've always been stuff you believe in.
Yeah, it's always been stuff I believe in, but then they start asking things that I'm not really comfortable with, and instead of, I'm just not good with, I hate conflict. Like even this conflict we just had, I started sweating.
Yeah.
And we were, you know what I mean? I'm just not. I'm not somebody that's into conflict. So when they start asking me to do things that maybe I'm not comfortable with, or maybe I'm just like, that's a little bit too much, or maybe I think that if I'm going to be posting that much, I should be getting a little bit more money, whatever. Again, it's not all about the money, but it's like, I never, ever, ever, ever want it to be like obese to beast, and then the first thing you think is a brand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, he is this. No, I don't want that. Like, he uses that. Yeah, okay. But not like, I'm connected at the hip with something. I don't ever want that. And sometimes people will start asking things where like that's what it's going to turn into.
Yeah.
That definitely happens on Instagram. People like, you think of their name and you think of the supplement company they're sponsored by.
Yeah.
That will never be what I want. So when brands would start asking more things, I just gone. Like I would just cut it, and that's not good. You know, that's just not a good way to treat anybody. So I need that's a good point. Like I just need to get better at when things get a little bit awkward, or maybe, you know what I mean, just being like, okay, let's open a line of dialogue, or maybe even call on the phone, which I hate doing.
Yeah.
I hate talking on the phone. Hate it. But I just need to do that. And but that's a good point. I didn't even think about explaining that at all. But.
Yeah, and so like that's immediately where my mind went, was just like, okay, like establish a relationship where you're comfortable telling them no.
Yeah.
Comfortable being like, you know what, I don't feel comfortable doing that. Okay, that's fine. Let's work on something else. Instead of they ask this and you go like, oh, okay, we'll block. Uncomfortable.
Well, that and part of like better relationship is hopefully relationships that last a while. You know, not just like, oh, make this one post. Mm-hmm. Oh, do this. You know what I mean? Oh, we'll do something for 2 months or 2 posts, and then that's it. Because it's hard to explain this to people that might not be into this. But like a lot of times when you work with brands, sometimes it's like, we want you to do 2 posts, and that's what we'll do. And then, but then there's like contracts where you can be like, we'll be together for 3 months, and then we'll see at the end of that. So like, I want to start working on things like that so people can like, and again, this is all things that I haven't even like, there's not even things in the works yet, kind of, but like I'm just getting my feet wet, trying to see if I can make something that I'm really proud of to bring to you guys that are listening. But so I don't know, this is weird talking about this, I feel like, on the podcast. Like I'm slightly uncomfortable, I'm not going to lie, but I guess that's good. But yeah, it's hard. It's hard. It's like, honestly, I was actually talking to my girlfriend about this. I think it comes from... I think that's
the first girlfriend bomb on the podcast.
No, I've said it a couple times, I think. But I was telling her, like, I think part of the reason why this is so hard for me is because we both grew up with not much money at all. And we saw how hard mom and dad worked for such a little amount.
Yeah.
You know, not trying to be mean, but they worked their butts off, and they still do, for like barely over minimum wage. And for me, it's really hard to feel like I deserve what is normal in the social media space to ask, right? And so for me, instead of asking, I would just be like, I'm not going to ask anybody. And I literally would get emails upon emails and never respond to anybody, even if it was like something I was like, oh, maybe that could be interesting. I would say still 85 to 90% of the stuff that I get emailed is garbage, trash. Like I had someone email me yesterday or the day before, and they said, hi, Joshua. I'm like, come on, bro. You have to get my name right at least, right? So there's like, there is a huge amount of BS that I would never ever even touch, but there are certain ones that I've like people that have messaged me like 4 times like, yo, we think this could be awesome, like why aren't you responding? And it's just, I get this anxiety inside of me, like I don't deserve money for doing what I do, and it's just weird. Like I don't know, this is really deep stuff here that we're talking about. It's like making me sweat.
That's what this platform is about.
Yeah, but so that's kind of, in a nutshell, it's a very big nutshell, but that's kind of what I meant by that. So that was when I knew people would say something about.
But do you see where I come from of why I get upset with people who say that? Because they have no clue what goes on
The thing is,
and they can't know. I
Yeah,
mean,
exactly.
They wouldn't know. They have
they
no
won't-
reason to know.
Exactly.
But on that same token, like you have no way of knowing.
Well, and
so
that's-
why is there this like, you made me feel this way, I need to express it?
Yeah.
Like, just
I get it, but at the same time, I'm open to people saying what they want to say, because then hopefully I can explain my point of view and hopefully do it in a way where I don't. Because a lot of times, the people that support me are very awesome. Like, I really do think that most of the people aren't like trying to attack, and like the people that
you
were
for
asking,
sure have more for you than against you.
yeah,
For sure.
And so they're genuinely, I think a lot of the questions, some of them were whatever, but like most of them were genuinely like curious of like, what the heck does that even mean? Because again, why would they know, right?
Yeah.
And so I think, but on the flip side, like I do know the background of a lot of my friends and a lot of the people that I'm with. Like I know how much money they are making, and if people knew, it's like it's crazy.
Yeah.
And so I've again, like I'm not trying to become like some millionaire. I just want to be able to make this podcast better, make my videos better. You know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to do. So that's kind of my thought process with that one. So let's move on for that, because I'm done talking about that. So the next one was make more videos. That's pretty self-explanatory. Again, I probably should have been a little bit more specific and said like make 2 videos on Obese Beast, 2 videos. So I have my second channel, right? 2 videos on that a week, 4 videos a week, or maybe 2 videos on Obese Beast and at least 1 video a week on, So that's probably something that I'll fix. But I've been doing that. I'm really happy about that. I just put up a video right now. It's uploaded while we were talking. And I've been really trying to do that. So that one's pretty self-explanatory, and then that goes into, that's what I was gonna say, into the work harder thing. Like there's definitely days where I'm like, I should be working on a video, or like at least thinking of ideas or editing or filming, whatever it might be for the video, that where I'm just like, oh, well, now I'm watching Netflix. Well, that's great. I'm being lazy.
Yeah.
So that's,
Do you want to talk about something else that might make you kind of awkward?
oh, what?
Just might as well, right?
Sure.
We already opened up the door.
What?
So it's very interesting, and I think it's an interesting dynamic between me and you, because by all accounts and purposes, you are established on social media, right?
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm not.
Yeah.
I would like to be.
How many followers do you have on Instagram right now?
Like 7,000.
7,000, and then what's
Like 77, and then YouTube's like 75. They're
Okay.
they're very
Oh, wow.
close. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. I think YouTube's like 75. It doesn't really
Something
matter,
like that. It's
but
around there.
very close to that area. 75. There you go. So for me, it's like, in order to make a living, I have my YouTube channel, but I don't even like.
You don't really make money off of that.
I don't.
Yeah.
I really don't. Maybe every 3 months I make $100.
Yeah. So you don't make any money off of it.
Yeah, exactly. And so I don't make anything off Instagram, And so it's like, in order for me to live and survive, we also haven't made anything on this podcast. So I have to have other companies that I work for, right? So, and I enjoy it. I enjoy the
have other
diversity.
regular jobs in quotes, right? Like
Yeah.
that aren't you making YouTube videos.
Yeah. So before it was working full time. I mean, so when I was working at RX Smart Gear, that was a full time work. And then I also was working at Starbucks in the morning, 3:30 to 7:30 in the morning, and then RX Smart Gear from 8 to 5. And then trying to upload my YouTube videos and stuff consistently. Recently, like, I say I'm full time on my own, which I am, but it's like a lot of work goes towards the church.
Yeah.
A lot of work goes towards still to RX Smart Gear. A lot of work goes towards that other YouTube channel that I'm doing stuff for, plus random stuff on the side. And those all help.
You have a lot of little things that add to your monthly check, technically, right?
Yeah. I have a lot of things that add to my monthly check, but also take up a lot of time.
Yeah.
And so I've been very frustrated, because it's like, I'm just trying to get 1 video a week. Like, that's all I want. I want 1 YouTube video and then this podcast episode. If I can do that, I feel like I'm succeeding in this season of my life right now. And so, like, when there are weeks where, like last week, no YouTube video, and that, like, drives me crazy. Because it's like, in theory, it's just recording my workout and some other stuff, editing and uploading. But that is like 6 hours.
Yeah. And that's, sorry, I want you to
And then
finish your thought.
last week was a very special week that we'll get into later, but that kind of contributed to it. But it's just like, it just gets very frustrating, because it's like, the reason I learned video, the reason I did all this was so that eventually I can get to the point where like YouTube and all that stuff become my main thing. that skill has given me so much other work
I know, it's pretty cool.
that I'm not able to do the thing of why I wanted to learn how to do it. So it's like, I know I'm complaining that I have too much work, but it's just like, it's just very interesting being on a different side, because it's like, as you being established, you were talking to me this today, like, oh, it's so crazy how well my second channel is doing. I don't even try, you know, like
Jeez, that makes it sound bad.
You try, but it's like, you're not like,
so let me break that down. So Obese to Beast is my main channel that has 600 something thousand or 550,000, something like that. And then my second channel is John Glaude, which I started. Let's talk about the history, right? So I started that
for Pokemon Go.
I started kind of. I started it. Almost,
it literally says Pokemon Go in your description.
Does it?
Yes.
Well, there you go. Hey, Pokemon Go is popping, and I wanted to capitalize on that. But it was like to do more lifestyle vlogging.
Yeah.
Right? And I was with a girl at the time that I was like, oh, it would be fun to do more videos with her in them. You know what I mean? And so, and then Pokemon Go was happening. And so I was, I was going to make some, I think I made like 3 Pokemon Go videos on the channel. But so I started it as just like a fun thing to do on the side that wasn't as like stressful, because for me, when it comes to Obese to Beast, that's like, I'm very aware of the amount of people that are following, and the type of person that is probably following is somebody that's trying to learn about weight loss. So I want to be a good steward of what I have there, right? Does that make sense?
Yep.
And so I'm almost like I get very stressed about making videos because I know how many people it's going out to. Now, the amount of people that watch them varies very much, but like it's possible that it can go out like 100,000 people could watch it, and then it's also possible that 20,000 people. But even that's still a lot of people, right? 20,000 people is a grip of people, and so I'm always very weary of that. So I started the second channel, and then I was kind of joking around, just kind of making videos. Ended up not being in a relationship with that girl anymore, and that kind of made me stop for a while, just because I didn't really have anything else to record. Because the point was kind of like Pokemon Go, and you're joking around, but that wasn't like my thought when I started it. It just kind of Pokemon Go came out like 2 weeks after I started the channel. I was like really into it. So
and it was like more of like your life outside of the fitness.
But then once I was single, I was like, I'm not doing nothing else. So I stopped making videos. But then now the newest iteration that I've been doing for a while, and actually I'm really proud of how consistent I've actually been, is I just keep it CrossFit. Like if you're on that channel, you want to see CrossFit. And so am not ever stressed about what do I need to talk about. What is, you know what I mean? Most of the time the video is a CrossFit workout, me talking about how I feel about it, and then maybe a little mini topic at the end or something like that, right? So it's very different than Obese to Beast. It's still fitness based because that literally is what I care about. That's like, I love fitness so much. But so that's why I have that channel, but that channel has 21,000 subscribers or something like that, right? So Obese to Beast, 360, I think. Am I saying no? 560. The video's views will go from 20,000 to say 100,000, but 100,000 doesn't happen very often. So the percentage is very small of the amount of people that watch versus the subscriptions. The reason that is, I've been accused of buying subscribers. That has never happened. It's because when you have videos that go completely viral like that, people are interested, so they subscribe, but obviously I'm not going to make the same video over and over again, so they leave, which is fine, but the subscriber is still there. They didn't unsubscribe. So I have the subscribers says I have a huge amount of subscribers, but the people that actually watch is smaller. On Obese to Beast, I get like 7,000 to 9,000 views on a channel that only has 21,000. So it's like close to half, right? Say 30%, 40%. That's pretty. If I got that on Obese to Beast, that'd be crazy. Like if I got that many people that watched a video, like I never get people that watch. I never get a video that gets 200, 300,000 views, which I'm not complaining about at all. Like I'm just explaining, right? So with Obese to Beast or with a John Glaude, it's just nice because I don't stress as much about that. And that's kind of what I was saying to John. It's like, it's nice because I just put these videos up. I don't even schedule them. I just put them up, whatever. I'm not super stressed about it because for me, I know it sounds crazy, but I don't make any money. I've never made a single penny off of that channel yet, ever. I haven't. I've never made a single penny off of John Glaude. I just do it because I love making those videos. It's fun. It's something for me to do. It helps me hone, video editing and just talking to a camera because that's what I do, And so like, I genuinely make nothing off of that channel. Never had a sponsorship deal or anything like that. So it's just because I enjoy doing it. But yeah, it is like, I do honestly sometimes feel bad because I genuinely think you're better at editing videos than me. You're a good personality on camera. Your videos are really good. And sometimes I watch mine and I'm like, these are not as good as yours. And they're getting more views. And so, but yeah, man, it's just, I think it's just an interesting dynamic of both of us, because I'm not like, I'm not mad at you.
And I'm not mad that you get views. Like, I'm not. Like, that's not, nowhere does that cross my mind. It's just more of like all right, like, just got to keep on going. I just got to keep on going. I got to keep on going. And so it's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. That's all. I just think it's a fun dynamic. And
Yeah,
now,
no, it is.
people are involved in that dynamic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so when you see a video of John's that does really well, just be like, look at John, he's killing it.
Yeah.
So then the last one is take more risks. So that one is pretty vague as well, but it's like all of this stuff.
Is that why you jumped in front of the bus?
Yeah.
Earlier?
No. That one is kind of, it's tied. A lot of them, I guess, are kind of tied. And again, like if you do this yourself, I would recommend being a little bit more specific. And then if you don't want to post it on social media, you don't have to. But that one was kind of like, I mean, this is even like right here, what we're doing right now. Like normally I'd be like, I don't want to talk about this, but like that stuff. And then like, honestly, like so this is a good segue actually into that. So coming up Wednesday, I'm going to be going to an audition kind of for playing drums at my church again. Right. And so before I would have been like, never mind. I don't want to do it. Because I love drums. I love playing drums, and I never get to play drums anymore. And so Jean used to be the worship leader at our church, and when he was the worship leader, I would drum a lot. And that was a lot of fun, but then he stepped down, and then I just kind of stopped.
We don't have to be nice here.
Okay.
I was asked to step down.
Jean was asked to step down.
Not for skill.
Yeah.
But because I am very charismatic. A skill that I do not have is planning. And so I would drop the ball in communicating with people and getting back to people. But that is something which is so weird because I don't think anyone would say that about me anymore. Yeah. Like now I'm very big on getting back to people promptly, quickly, planning,
you learned from that.
organizing.
Yeah.
I learned from that. I don't ever want to get let go from a church again. And then also Sam has helped out a lot.
Yeah.
She's very organized.
But when that happened, it was like I was really comfortable with playing with Jean because he understands like how I learn how I learn songs and stuff like that. And so recently I finally like emailed the worship. He's a super nice dude. It's not like he was like scary or anything like that. But I finally like stepped out of my comfort zone. I was like, I want to play, and it was literally like 30 minutes before we started recording. Like we set it up that Wednesday I'm gonna audition in quotes. Like I mean I'm sure I'll do fine and it shouldn't be an issue. Like I doubt that. I mean I used to play, so it's just making sure I know how to play.
It's just a song that you haven't played before yet.
Exactly. So. And it makes me nervous. So yeah, it is a song that I've never played before. So I have to. The way that I learn that stuff is, and this is actually the more and more I'm realizing it's how I learn anything is through repetition and listening. I need to listen to things. I can't read. It's really hard for me to read and hold on to stuff. So that's a part of the reason why I've always told myself that. So I never read. So that's why I'm reading. But so when I'm going,
I forget things if I listen right away. I have to see it. I have to read it.
Yeah. So for me, I need to listen, and it's always been like that. So what I'm going to be doing is the song that we're playing. I'm just going to listen to it for nonstop for the next 2 days until I know how to play it in my head at least.
Yeah.
Which is it sucks because I don't have a drum set to practice on, but I know what I'm going to be doing. So, but yeah, that's about it. Those are the 8. That was a lot of talking about those 8 points. But yeah, so if you want to do that, I highly recommend it. Again, you don't need to. I mean, it's been really nice because I'm able to wake up and I see it every day, staring me in the face. And so, but yeah, I really loved that. I love that was one of the exercises that they have in the book. I just think that it's really powerful. So now that we've been talking, what?
Hold on. I like to marinate.
Okay.
How do you feel about our I know I kind of was purposely pushing deeper, more what am I trying to say?
Were you trying to probe more, I guess?
Yeah. I was like probing into things that I knew that you felt uncomfortable.
Well, you made me sweat. So that's that. But I sweat pretty easily. No, that's what I don't want it to always be like, because I think if it's always us agreeing about things, that's kind of boring.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, I mean, everything I said is, I don't think I said anything to offend you anyway, but I don't want you to feel like I was attacking you. I just wanted to dig deeper into those.
I appreciate it. No, I don't feel attacked in any way. But I wanted to ask you, so when you heard me talking about, do you have anything that comes in your head that you kind of, like, if you had a mirror in front of you that you were sticking sticky notes on, would there say 2, so you don't have to do 8, just 2 that you come off the top of your head?
Yeah. So every single morning, I am also waking up earlier than I used to, and making sure I get to the office earlier than I would need to, so that I could spend time reading and journaling as well. And I've been
what would the sticky note say?
Read and journal.
Okay.
Because if I don't wake up early enough, I don't do it. Because that's the first thing that I cut out.
So would it be wake up earlier then, or would it be read and journal?
I think just read and journal, because waking up early is just a consequence of wanting to do those things. You know, like waking up early is one of them, and then what else would I put on my sticky note? Probably lose weight. You know, like
Lose weight, really?
yeah, I'm trying. Summer shredding, baby. We talked about this already.
I can't. Please don't say that
I'm
anymore.
I'm a thick boy. I'm a thick boy right now. So
Okay.
I think the importance. I might.
Okay. No, let me probe you. Let me go deeper. When you say lose weight, what do you mean? How much?
Well, I think it's unrealistic to try to get to 180.
How much do you weigh
used
now?
to be like 206.
Okay. You weigh 206?
Yeah.
Dang, bro.
I know, thick boy.
Thick boy.
I know.
That's how much I weigh.
And so I think that
180 would be. You do not need to weigh 180.
yeah. So I think like 190.
Mhm.
Like 185 has always been the number kind of in my head, but maybe even 190. Like I'm not too obsessed with the number. It's just that I know
So when
I
you
have
say
I have a body composition that I have in my head, and I don't know what that weight is. So that's why I'm not worried about the
lose
number.
weight. I don't think it should be lose weight then.
It's lose fat, I guess.
No, I think it should just be like
Body composition.
No, so okay, how are you going to go about losing? I think it should be that. How are you going to go about losing weight?
Caloric deficit.
Okay, but like with that, are you going to focus on tracking macros? Are you going
Yes.
to focus? Okay, so I think it should be that.
Yeah,
Track macros. Because
Yeah.
if you're tracking macros, if you eat a pizza, you're probably not going to be tracking the macros.
Okay, I don't understand why you had to call me out.
Because you did.
It was a Super Bowl party, and it was my engagement weekend.
Oh, dropping it on him?
Yeah,
All
dropping
right,
the
so
bomb.
let's
on
talk
him.
about that. Let's talk about that. So what happened this Saturday?
Okay, so this Saturday, just so everyone knows, that Shermer Shreddin' baby is more like wedding shredding.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because this Saturday I finally proposed to my girlfriend Sam. We are now betrothed to be married.
Oh my gosh.
And so
That word makes me laugh.
she doesn't like it.
Betrothed.
I'm like, you are my betrothed, and she's like, I don't like that.
Yeah, I wonder why.
I don't
Because
know.
it sounds like you're from 1800. That's why.
I have courted her.
Courted her. But yeah, so that was really cool. I was able to be a part of it. I took some pictures of it.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the breakdown. About a month ago, Sam, like I said, Sam plans everything ahead. Okay. So about a month ago, Sam told me about a lovely day that she's going to have with one of her best friends, Shelby. And so I, at first, was like, okay, cool. Like, have that. That means I get the day off. That's what I call it. She hates when I call it that.
I get the day off.
I get the day off.
Because you're not seeing your girlfriend.
Yeah.
Great.
So
This is going to be a great marriage.
Yeah. And so she was going to have that day with Shelby. And I was like, okay, cool, whatever. And then as I got the ring and I started thinking, I was like, I know what I'm going to do. And so then I messaged Shelby and I'm like, hey, I'm hijacking your day. Like, this is no longer Lovely Girls Day. This is Let's Get Married Day, or Let's Get Engaged Day. And so their plan was they worked out in the morning. I was with them. Almost everyone in the gym knew I was going to ask that night, except Sam. And so it was kind of funny, like seeing everyone, like, how would they react knowing that Sam later that night, like 6 hours later or something, was going to get proposed to.
What happened was nobody talked to Sam, and she was like, "Why isn't anybody talking to me?"
No one wanted to,
because
like,
everyone was like, "Oh, I don't want to say anything on accident."
Yeah, like a couple people told me that Sam was like, all right, I'll see you tomorrow or something. And they're like, okay. Like, they wanted to be like, I'm going to see you tonight. But then they're like, oh, shoot, I can't say that. And so the same thing with me is like, so like I said, that was a month ahead. And then I kind of let people know, hey, save this date. This is what's happening. I let you know that week because I wasn't too worried that you weren't going to have anything to do.
It's true.
Yeah. But I was like, hey, here's my plan.
Did you
Here's
really
everything.
let people know way before you let me know?
Yeah. I kept on intending to tell you, and then would just forget.
You literally told me like 3 days before.
Yeah. And good thing
And
you
I
did.
was like, yeah, I'll be there.
Yeah.
Whatever.
And then, so the plan was to go to her favorite place in the entire world. She was going to get her nails done. Super sly.
So she got take good pictures.
So she have good pictures. Yep. So she got her nails done, and then she went to Balboa Park. She went to a museum, kind of hung out, and then they were going to go to this place called Liberty Station, which is this very beautiful old Navy base. And then that's where I was going to be. And the day came. It was perfect, except for the fact that it was storming and raining and pouring, flash flood warnings, thunderstorm warning, like everything. And so my goal was that I was going to propose out in the courtyard, which is nice and beautiful and open and green. And then we were going to go into the market, which is like kind of like Seattle's public market or Pike Place Market, where it's like so many different stores, and then there's like this little mess hall area where everyone goes. That all got condensed to we were all shoved inside of this little room, like hundreds of people there. And so I tried to I was just, as people came, I put them on duties of like, you take that table and don't let anyone sit with you. You take that table and don't let anyone sit with you. And then I was thinking, I guess I'm just going to have to ask inside this room because it's raining. And I was looking around, and there was this huge poster of ham. And right next to it, there was this huge poster of pizza. And there was like construction on one side. And then it was just so busy and loud because it's like just an echoey hall chamber. And I started stressing out. Like, oh man, this is terrible. She's going to hate this. She's not going to like this. She loves Liberty Station, but this is not what is supposed to be. And so I just finally was like, screw it. I'm doing it in the rain. Like, I don't care. I'm going to go out in the rain and I'm going to ask there. And luckily, by just pure grace of God, if you will, someone comes and they have a clear umbrella. And I'm like, I'm going to use your umbrella. And they're like, okay, yeah, that's fine. And then when she arrived...
I thought, really?
Yeah.
I thought you guys planned that. Like, I thought Shelby bought 2 clear umbrellas or something like that.
No.
Wow.
When Sam came, Shelby, her friend, also had a clear umbrella. The 2 clear umbrellas, those girls are actually roommates. And they bought them when they went to New York a couple years ago. And so they just happened to have the same umbrella. And so I come out, she walks up, I open the doors, I go, we both have clear umbrellas. We're just chatting, we're talking. And then I get down on one knee, umbrellas, rain, family and friends surrounding. All of her family and friends were there. The day before, I went and met with her dad and asked for his blessing, all that stuff. And then, so family, friends, everything. And I asked her the question, and she said, yeah. And then we just went inside, and since there was a crowd of 20 of us.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, we swarmed to the door at one moment. So everyone else, the hundreds of people in there, are curious as to what's happening. So they come and they start looking. Next thing you know, I get on my knees. She says, yes, come in. We walk in, and the whole place just erupts and just yeah, super exciting. Everyone's congratulating us. And then we just hung out for the rest of the night. And it was literally what could have been a disaster. I was just no, this will not ruin the day. And that's how what happened.
Yeah, it's crazy that, I mean, I talked about it a little bit in the video that I just finished, but seeing you guys from the start, and it's funny because when we talked about this when she was on, when you guys first started dating, I didn't like her at all. And I made it very clear to you because she was no, I don't want a boyfriend, but you guys were talking forever.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is she not is she just embarrassed for you or something like that?
Yeah.
So it's been cool, literally watching from the very start to now, and then obviously to when you guys get married. It's just cool. I've never been a part of being there when people met and then actually hanging out with them all the time while they're dating and then getting engaged and stuff like that. So how long have you guys been together now?
We were together for 2 years on January 31st. So that was 2 years and 2 days.
Wow.
And I proposed. So
that's awesome, man. Well, congratulations, bro.
Yeah. I'm really excited.
Mm-hmm.
And she already has days planned, and she already has a
Didn't she tell you that you were allowed to ask her to marry on certain days or something like that?
Yeah. Because you get to a point where you start realizing all right, it's going to happen soon. It's going to happen soon.
You guys talk about it a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't engagement shouldn't be the fact that you want to marry them shouldn't be a surprise when you propose.
Yeah, I think that's kind of I mean, like in the movies, that's how it make it seem, but like in reality, that's a huge deal, especially if you're planning on doing it in public.
Yeah,
I don't know. Who wants to be embarrassed? Like if she said no or something like that. You know what I mean? Like you should know that. Like, hey, if I ever asked you to get married, what would you say?
Yeah,
I'd say yes. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So we had those conversations, and then she's like, "All right, here are some days that it would work really well." Like I said, she's a planner.
Yeah.
So here are some days that would work really well for you to ask me. And I said, okay, awesome. Thank you for letting me know. And I did not choose one of those days.
Yeah, of course.
Because friggin' heck no.
Yeah.
Like, what the heck? No, I'm not going to let you tell me what days I'm allowed to propose to you. Yeah.
And she's like, no, ask me in 3 days.
I said you can ask me on this day. But there was a lot. I mean, there was a lot of cool things that, like, all of our family and friends really, like, rallied together to make it happen and make it, like, a success. And just like the friends, like, you know, like your roommates, Mike and Jazz are friends, but they were there and they were like 100% on board to do whatever they could to make it work. Everyone, all my other friends, like 100% on board to do whatever they can to make it work. Her friends were contacting me, doing whatever they can. And so, and then this whole thing, like by planning with her family and talking with her family, like it really solidified our bond with the family, my bond with their family. Now we're talking, you know, like, so that made that better. We don't have the closest family like dynamic, you know, like
we, yeah,
like in our family.
yeah.
But to see all of them together,
Yeah, that was cool.
around that, like that was so cool to me.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nice. It's just nice when it's not something that's like tearing everyone apart,
Yeah.
you know, like
Yeah.
that would hurt. That would be rough, but it was okay.
Yeah.
You just grabbed the
Congratulations.
sound effects board.
Woo! Go, John! Yay! Let's move on from this.
Okay.
So, what did you have in your notes that you wanted to talk about?
Okay. Do you want to just totally change subjects?
Yeah, let's just totally change subjects.
Okay. So the list of athletes who are going to the game so far.
It's great. I think it's a great transition. It's very smooth.
Yeah. No, that was a raw dog for sure. That was not smooth.
A raw dog?
Yeah. That was not smooth.
Don't ever again say that transition was a raw dog.
That transition was a
It's
raw dog.
not the right word. That is for something else, John. Now you'll find out soon because you're getting married.
Yeah. No, okay, so the list of athletes who are going to the game so far. On the male side, we have Matt Frazier.
When you talk
won
the CrossFit Games.
Yeah, the CrossFit Games. Guys, we talked about CrossFit. Get used to it. Matt Frazier won Dubai. Pat Vellner won Wadapalooza. James Newbury won the Australian CrossFit Championship. And to totally surprise me, Sean Sweeney won Fittest in Cape Town. Which, I don't know how I feel about that. Because Sean Sweeney, at, what was the last one he went to? I think it was Wadapalooza. Got 22nd place out of like 30 or something.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And then
maybe it just wasn't his week that week.
Very next weekend. But he's also like, he won the South Regional in previous years. And everyone was always like, that's the weakest region, you know? And so, good on him.
Yeah.
He got a ticket to the games, which is pretty cool. And then on the female side, we got Sam Briggs, who won 2 events, but she's going because of Dubai. Tia Claire Toomey won Wadapalooza. Madeline Sturt, who got 2nd place at Australia. She got Sam Briggs' 2nd spot. And then Miss Catherine Davis' daughter's going to the games from Fittest in Cape Town, which I think is super cool.
Yeah.
Catherine and Tia, they got their tickets.
Good old CrossFit. I think it's going to be interesting. We'll see. I'm interested to just see how it all plays out this year because it's so different and new, you know, like with the whole new system.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see how it goes. We'll see what people think of it.
Yeah, I ain't paying money to watch Flow Elite's live feed.
Well, it's
That's
just
the bummer. I mean, some places are like doing it live on like Facebook, or like Dubai was the best free live stream so far.
well, they've live streamed for a few years now, anyways. Right?
Yeah,
they've kind of had it set up a little bit.
But not to the level that they did this year. They like really stepped it up this year. But like Flow Elite streams Wadapalooza, and it's like no, I ain't doing that.
Mhm.
I'm not going to pay you money just to watch this live stream when I'm going to get the updates. And so that's the bummer, is like you don't get to see it like you did before. But it is cool that it's like the Australian CrossFit Championship and Fittest in Cape Town were like days apart.
Yeah, that is cool. So
You know?
there is more action to be
Yeah.
seen. It's just, do you want to spend the money to see it?
No.
Yeah, well, I know that. I know that for you. For other people,
Yeah.
like, yeah. But yeah, cool, man. Is there anything else in the notes you got there that you want to talk about?
That was just what I had for that.
That's what you had for that?
I just, I just felt like we should do a little bit of update. You know?
a
Like
little bit of update on the CrossFits.
game season. Yeah, so people know. Now we have 8 official people, 4 men, 4 women
Cool.
going to the CrossFit Games.
Sweet. Awesome, man. Well, I think that's about to wrap it up, yeah? Is there anything else you want to say to the lovely people out there?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
And it's this.
Oh, man, here we go.
Don't hate people for wanting to build relationships with brands.
Jeez.
Just don't. If you don't understand the little intricacies and details of it, and this applies to anything, if you don't know, just don't say something. If you have nothing nice to say, don't say it at all. Like Thumper from Bambi teaches you that. Like, maybe before you type something out, just think, do I know all the aspects of this? Do I even know most of the aspects of this? If you don't know at least 50% of the aspects of what you're about to say, just chill. It's fine. Thank you so much for listening to the Work for Change podcast. My name is John.
Spelled like Gene?
Oh, I've never done that at the end.
Oh, okay.
That was weird.
All right, sorry.
My
My
name
name's John with that H. Bye.
Peace.